Hey, sports fans, you savage fuckers. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Greg Medford Show. Greg here, Phoenix, Arizona. We've got a guest with us today we're going to talk about. She's a youngster. She's into shooting. We see a lot of the new generation popping in to these old things we've been doing. You know, a lot of us have been beating the drum for decades and decades doing this. A lot of us crazy ex-Marines and patriots alike. We see politicians making the assault at any given moment. And I find it fascinating when the world starts going to pot, I notice nobody's talking about gun control anymore, and I really like that. When everything's really hip, slick, and cool and smooth, everyone's talking about gun control because it's like they can't help but put their hand up their own ass and start fucking around. It's like things are going too smoothly, things are going so nicely, we're just going to finger paint with our own feces a little bit and screw up the Constitution. We're going to challenge it all. But then when you see a superpower or a former superpower or somebody with a lot of nukes goes and invades a country in Europe, all of a sudden the Europeaners, whom we pay for their defense, for whom we take care of, for whom we have had to step in 2 times in the last century, killing thousands and thousands of people to calm shit down, we can't get them most of the time to abide by any of their agreements in NATO. We can't get them to pay their fair share ever. They have been behind on their bills forever. They do not spend their 2%. They promise to be in NATO. And all of a sudden, they're game. All of a sudden, they're ready to, Germany's even talking about spending more than 2%. Now, I don't know how much we want. I mean, the Germans gave us their best and we fucking killed them all. So there may not be a bunch of toothy Germans out there to be worried about. We may have just neutered that group just quite enough that maybe they won't rise up a couple times in this century. But it just seems ironic to me once there's a little bit of danger and a little bit of fear, everybody pulls back their bullshit. And we might even start pumping oil again in this country. Who knows? But no one's talking about taking guns away. And all I see, I think we won't have a real Second Amendment conversation in this country for 40 years. And here's why. Because a big goddamn country with a big military and a serious, strong sense of self-identity and nationalism, which is a whole lot like us, got invaded by a nuclear power. And there were pictures of these wonderful people, these liberation-oriented, independent-oriented, not be taken over-oriented citizens like us. They were all handed Kalashnikovs. They were handed Kalashnikovs to defend themselves. The person with a rifle, man or woman, I've seen so many great images of young people, couples, standing in front of their apartment building. And here, they'd be wearing skinny jeans and he'd be wearing fucking capri pants with some queerbait looking shoes. And he'd have his hair up in a top knot. And they would be reveling in the latest latte, triple mocha latte foam bullshit from Starbucks. And I saw the same couple. And they're kind of scruffy and their hands are dirty. And they're both carrying AK-47s and they were holding hands. A romantic young couple in the middle of this. So I think it's apropos we talk to somebody from that generation that we all kind of bag on a little bit. Everybody I know in that generation struggles with the wokety wokeness. If they're right-headed kids, they see around them a sea of wokety woke bullshit. So we have a young person in here today who's not from that wokety woke crowd. Thankfully. And it's a pleasure to have her in. So this is Adelina Mae. You guys can find her on Instagram at ADELINA.MAE. Adelina Mae on Instagram. Now, Instagram's irrelevant. It's already dead and we're abandoning it as a company here pretty soon, but she's still there playing around till the next thing comes along.
Yeah.
Totally okay. Hey, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me on. This is super cool.
You got a tour through the factory?
I did.
Is that your first factory tour you've ever been on?
My first legit factory tour I've ever been on, yes.
Okay, legit factory. We'll take it.
I was very impressed, let's say that.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Orange, California.
In Orange?
Yes.
Okay. And you got out of high school, didn't go to college?
I did not.
And what do you want to do with your life?
I want to shoot guns.
It's awesome.
That's what I would like to do. No, I went to school. I was good at school. I never had a problem with it. It wasn't my thing. I remember telling my mom I cannot see myself going to 4 more years of school. And I went to EMT school, and I figured out I didn't want to see children die for minimum wage. So I started personal training, and then I started realizing that people actually greeted me with a smile, and I liked what I did. So I kind of just chased that route, and that gave me a lot of flexibility to be able to shoot. So that's kind of what I chased.
What are you shooting right now?
As far as firearms, or
Mhm.
as far as
Firearms.
Well, I'm shooting 3-gun, so I have all of the above. I'm shooting a CZ Shadow 2 for competition. I have a Titan AR, and then I'm shooting a Vepr from Dissident for my shotgun.
All right, cool. And are you? Tell me at what level you're competing at.
I mean, there's different ways to measure levels. Like USPSA, I'm a Class B shooter, I
Okay.
guess you could say.
Well, we've got a lot of people who watch the show who aren't necessarily
Yeah.
shooters. They're just kind of freedom-loving knife slingers.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the different levels in the USPCA.
So
And that's the practical shooting. So you guys, United States Practical Shooting Association, is that what
Yes, so it's all pistol for the most part. I mean, you can shoot PCC, but so that's kind of the level you're at. So there's I think there's D class, unclassified, D class, C class, B class A, master, and grandmaster. So I'm definitely middle of the pack here. That's
Okay.
cool. I've only been shooting seriously for about 3 years, like I told you. But I haven't shot USPSA in probably a year now.
Okay.
I've been really focusing on multi-gun, especially with the last year with low ammo stuff. I was shooting minimal matches and just kind of really focusing on that. And then also focusing on my side teaching stuff and then work and living a life as a 20-year-old and trying to figure stuff out. So,
Yeah.
but definitely middle of the pack. But I can say that I could probably walk up to somebody on the street and be like, okay, let's go shooting, So
So you're super comfy, but you're working your way in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you want to be a master class shooter at
course.
some point.
Yeah,
How long do you think that journey takes?
I mean, I don't think you ever stop learning.
Of course not, but when do you become, you get stomped in as a master class shooter at some point?
I mean, there's classifiers to do it, so you have to prove yourself. And I don't know how long it would take me. I'm one of those people that I have to work at it. It doesn't just come naturally to me.
Do you have any instructors you're working with?
I've worked with quite a few people. I've worked with Mike Panone. I've worked with Taryn. I've worked with who else have I worked with? I have a lot of great friends in the industry that have helped out a lot.
Do you have a mentor that's coaching you get there now, or are you just kind of working it on your own?
Currently, no.
Okay.
Since I moved away from everybody that I know. But Mike Panone for sure has helped me a lot mentally and physically and pushed just incredibly. I was introduced to him at a really young age, and I've worked with him a lot. So he's definitely pushed really hard and made me a better shooter, as well as Taryn Butler. Like I said, I haven't shot USPSA in quite a while. And that I remember going from C class to B class in a month, and then going from unclassified and skipping D class and going to C class in 2 months. So if I push really hard and
How many
focus,
times a week are you shooting now?
none right now. I mean, one a week.
Is it the ammo? Is that the deal?
Ammo and work. I work about 12 hours a day.
What are you doing for work?
I'm a personal trainer.
Okay.
So I
Where
work
do
about
you
12
do
hours
that
a day. Chandler. I
Yeah.
work for a company called Ideal Physiques.
Okay.
But I work out of Atlas Training Facility in Chandler. So got a long drive and I work a lot and I like what I do, but it takes a lot of my time. And then weekends I'm traveling. My family's still in California, so I see them.
How did you grow up? Tell everybody where Orange is if they don't know.
I grew up in Southern California. It's about 30 minutes south of LA.
So, is it inland or is it close to the coast?
20 minutes away from the coast.
Okay, so it's halfway between San Diego, basically, and LA. And for everybody out there in the hinterlands, tell us how we get a 20-year-old cute little Southern California girl that bails on California and wants to shoot all the time.
You have a dad that was a cowboy.
Your dad's a cowboy?
I grew up with a dad. I mean, I grew up in horse country. I grew up in a very small equestrian community. So I grew up on horses. I grew up shooting, camping, doing all that kind of stuff. So luckily I was raised with that, especially nowadays. I'm so glad I know how to start a fire and do something if something were to go down. I'm oh, okay, well, I feel prepared. But I grew up hunting, grew up doing that kind of stuff. My dad actually became part of a church security team, and the church security team was taking him shooting, just going out, training, making sure, vetting their guys. And I was 6th or 8th grade, so I was 12 because I was young for my grade. I was well, I want to go. Why can't I go? Like, no, she's not allowed to come. Like, we're not taking the girl for shooting. No.
Is it a big church? It must be a big church.
It was a big church, yeah.
Yeah, because I know a church out here that's got a security team.
Yeah.
And it's like all the ex-Marine members.
It's pretty intense, yeah.
I'm always like, God, if anybody ever pulls up to throw down on that bunch, they're just gonna get blammed.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
So, I mean, like, my dad was like, well, you're just gonna come and just, like, prove yourself. So I went out there and I was, like, 12 years old with a 1911 shooting with all the guys. And like, all right, she can stay. And then eventually, like, I was able to drive. My dad had to get more busy with work. I was half online in high school. So I started going to the range with them at, like, 7 a.m. And I would pack up my stuff and go to school, 12, go to school. And that was my training. So I would go 2-3 times a week in high school. And then they were like, okay, well, we've trained you to the extent of our ability, so now you got to start shooting competitions to get better and pushing yourself. So that's when I started falling in love with it, and that was not what I was interested in. I was not like, I want to be a competition shooter. It kind of just fell in my lap, and then started doing
You gonna
things.
go in the military?
I wanted to for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted to do, was be a combat medic in the Marines, and I decided not to.
What changed your mind?
I knew a lot of Marines, and they were kind of just like, we don't think that's a good decision for you. Safety wise, like for your safety within the branch. I mean, they had their reasons, and my dad being my dad is going to be like, no, I don't want you to do that. So I just kind of shifted my focus, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll go sheriff's here. And that's when I did EMT school. And I liked EMT school. I thought it was cool, but I couldn't see myself going through another year for paramedic school and like still hating my job as an EMT. So I was like, I don't really know if I want to do that. I still love the medical side of things.
So you kind of don't even know really what you want to do yet.
I mean, like I'm in a transitionary period for sure. I have a direction where I'm going and what I want to do. I have big lofty goals, but I mean, career wise, I'm not set in a career.
Yeah. What are some of your lofty goals? Tell us.
Well, my whole goal was to own a house by the time I was 21.
Okay.
So I still got a few more months.
That's doable. So that's super doable.
Yeah. I have like 7 more months.
Okay.
I'm 21.
What else?
Well, obviously I want to own multiple properties. So I want to do that kind of thing. Have that be a side income. I would love to own a gym. I've competed in bodybuilding 3 times this past year. So yeah. I love that industry. I don't know. I would love to just shoot guns and just
shoot
rad.
Guns and be landlordess.
Yeah.
And own a gym.
Yeah.
All right.
It's basically I want to shoot guns, lift weights, and just like do cool things. I'll fly helicopters with you.
You just described most of the dudes I know. Most of the dudes I know are like, pretty much I want to kind of like shoot. I want to work out.
I mean, if I could blow stuff up, that'd be rad too.
Yeah. Well, that job is out there for you.
I know.
But it might not make your dad happy.
I know.
There's probably never been a better time to like go do that because, we're just getting out of too long protracted conflicts, and we usually have a little bit of peace before we get our freak on. But we'll get our freak on soon enough. When I was a young person, it was so funny. Conflict came up and I got deployed, and after it was over, like, well, I'll never have one of those again. I'm going to get out. And then, like 7 years later, all hell breaks loose and we end up in a 20-year war. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Because that was the greatest thing ever. Being on deployment, I thought was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be rad. I think it'd be a good time for me. I actually got told this morning that somebody told me they think I would be bored because I'd have to wait for so much.
It's super bored. That's the big thing about it. I mean, you have to have like veterans who tell you about their great stories are generally, you could put all of their great stories into a 7-day period.
Yeah.
And they were in for like 15 years. No. So it's just a god-awful grind of hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Well, and I got out because it didn't serve me well. Like, I didn't serve it well. I was annoyed by the dead time. I was annoyed by all the polishing and the scrubbing. I'm like, it's not 1840. There's more productive things we could be doing right now. And so it drove me crazy. So you're probably doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so you just moved out here to Arizona. What brought you out here?
Not being in California.
Just getting out of California?
Well, partially I wanted to get out of California. There's a lot of opportunity here business-wise. Like, I could have a lot of jobs here that were higher paying than actually in California.
Yep.
And as well as, obviously, all the firearms companies, all the matches out here. It's easier to travel. I needed to get out of California. My parents are leaving, too. They're moving out of state. So
where are they going?
They're going to Idaho.
Yeah.
They're actually sold their house. Their last day in their house is the 4th, which is in, like, 4 days.
Idaho's pretty cool, I think.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's far and it's cold, but it's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
And they don't like Californians there.
No, they don't.
You got to change your license plate right away.
You do. Mine's actually still California.
You almost need a neck tattoo that says "fuck California" or something like. All right, you're okay.
Yeah, they try to keep it quiet up there. I mean, everybody's really nice, and half the people up there are from California.
I know.
So I mean, I like it up there.
You know, the only people left in California are going to be a bunch of dirty, rotten, gun-grabbing commies.
Or people who don't have the balls to get out.
Yeah, well,
because I know quite a few of those
the same
too.
thing. Well, cool. So you have rerouted. You've put down roots here. Did you come here by yourself?
I did, yeah.
That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah. I mean, I have my dog.
You got you and your dog here from California.
Mm-hmm.
All right, nice. And then did you just go rent an apartment, or what'd you do?
I actually rented a house.
Yeah?
I had an apartment in California, and I was like, screw this. My dog needs a backyard, and I need a driveway and a garage.
Yeah.
So,
You need a garage for all your reloading.
yeah,
Do
totally.
you reload yet?
I mean, I have. I don't do it myself because it's just too much. I know that I'm going to screw it up, so I don't want to be held responsible for my screw up, so I'd rather not do that.
Well, you know, that's part of the craft of being a shooter is you
Yeah.
do got to spend some time doing that.
I have a lot of buddies, like a lot of really close friends here, and I'll go do it with them kind of thing. But I'm just not at that point where I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can take that on yet.
I'm trying to imagine a neighborhood in this town where a guy's like walking by with his dog and he sees you in there with your
Like reloading.
your blonde hair, your
In
little
my
workout
truck.
outfit. You're like reloading with a pickup truck out front. You're like,
What?
Kooky universe
What
have
is
I
going
landed in
on?
here?
I know that and my dirt bikes in the car and not in the car.
What kind of dirt biking you do?
Well, to be fair, I'm very new to this.
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up on dirt bikes, but I didn't have my own big girl bike. And then
Yeah.
I bought a big girl bike.
What's your big girl bike you
I
got?
have a YZ250F.
Oh, nice.
So I actually was told, like, maybe you need a smaller bike because I apparently crash a lot.
Do you crash a lot?
I just send it because I'm like, I might as well just try it. So I just go for it, and then I end up going off a cliff, and so.
Yeah, you can get yourself pretty effed up. I wear like a full.
Oh, yeah.
I wear a full body
I wear
armor when
all
I
of
ride.
it. All of it.
Yeah, you
Because
should.
if I don't, I know I'm gonna get hurt.
And I
mean,
have flipped my bike over radically and kind of gotten up, and I thought I should be all fucked up, and I got up, I was like, oh, pretty good.
Okay.
And that was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So even in my middle-aged, decrepit state, the shadow of my former fit self, being protected is a big deal.
I mean, my older brother almost died last year riding, so my dad really does want me to get rid of my bike. But there is something about having a carbureted bike and like just knowing that like if shit hit the fan, I could go ride.
It's your
and,
go
like,
bike.
Go.
You know, the big thing out here is make sure you, when you're not running it and through the summer, keep the gas out of it because it all just gunks up. And
I
it's
mean,
a
I usually try
nightmare
to run the
undo.
gas out of it every night, time I'm done riding, but
You
I try.
Ride until it's empty.
no, I just try to run the gas out of it.
Yeah. I know I let mine sit through the summer and I had to bring it into the shop and I had to clean it all out. I was like, I got a KTM 350 I ride around. So I live right on the edge of the desert. So I can just open up. I got a Conex box out back. I can just open it up and just kind of go ride.
Yeah.
How far in the East Valley are you?
I am all the way east.
Holy smokes.
I'm not in Apache Junction, but I'm all the way east in Mesa.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes and I'm in the desert.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it's cool. I can load up the truck. My boyfriend did end up moving out here, so he's out here and he's really good at mechanical stuff. So when I don't know how to fix the bike, he helps me out.
Nice.
Basically, I say that I crash it on the weekends and he fixes it on Monday.
Oh
but
my
he's
God,
awesome.
he's your support staff.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's cool.
All right, what's your boyfriend's name?
Andre.
Andre, thanks for being the support staff for the crazy girl from California. You got anything you want to promote out here besides your Instagram
yes.
site? Yeah, let's hear it.
So I actually, like I said, I kind of transitioned from shooting a ton of matches this past year to teaching events. So my whole thing is I saw a need in my mom. I grew up with guns. I know how to shoot. My dad knows how to shoot. But I was like, okay, we have guns around the house as anybody with guns. And my mom was like, oh yeah, I know how to protect myself. I'm like, no, you don't. You know how to pull the trigger. You don't know how to clear a malfunction. You don't know how to load your own mags. You don't know how to change the magazines if I told you to. So you're going to come to the range with me and I'm going to show you how to do this. So when you leave, you don't need dad here to help you because I don't want something to happen and you're like, oh, I know how to shoot. And the bad guy now has the gun. And so she ended up coming out and I ended up teaching her and she felt so confident. She's like, I don't want a rifle because most women like shooting rifles. They're easier to shoot, easier to be accurate with really fast. So she ended up being able to leave knowing how to shoot her gun that she kept by her bedside at that point. So I felt like that's very, very common. Honestly, I know a lot of guys with wives and their wives know how to shoot, but they don't shoot.
Frankly, it's common with dudes.
In general.
Almost dudes and almost nobody is current shooting.
Oh, I know. And that's why I mean, I do a lot of funny, stupid videos on my Instagram saying like, just because you have a gun doesn't mean that you know what you're doing. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody's that way, but I know a lot of people who think that just because they have a gun, they're cool. They're safe and they're going to be good. And then I take them out shooting. I'm like, dude, you got a lot of work to do. Like this can be fiction one day, but the fact that you didn't know and you just, I mean, I've seen girls with red dots on their guns that weren't ever sighted in and they're pointed 5 feet low. I've seen girls that throw their guns in their purses without holsters.
Quit being such a sexist. Guys are the exact same retarded.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yep. They throw it in their backpacks.
Yep, guys are just as retarded.
And I'm only saying that because I teach women only.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of kidding.
And I was like, you carry this every day?
Yeah.
Like this is an issue. So I made it like, that was my last event and I had like an amazing time. It turned out amazing. This event, I learned how to make it better. So the last time I did it, it was in October. It was in San Diego. I had 30 women show up. I was the only instructor. And I make it a fun event because I think a lot of girls are intimidated because when they go shooting, I mean, I did it. I went shooting with my dad and I was afraid to ask questions. So I just did the stupid stuff and learned how to do it. And now I know that I can ask questions, but I've been in that situation. So I wanted to make a space where they could ask the questions and not feel stupid and not feel like there's just I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. You know, the number one way to have everyone intimidated is have a bunch of like, post-middle-age, slightly overweight, gunslinging, tack pant, specialty boot, 4 holsters, 3 guns, big monster truck. They tell you about their 3 tours in Afghanistan. Now we're going to do some shooting today, ladies. And the girls are like,
No, I tell the girls, I'm like, no, you're going to an event. And I kind of based it off, like I grew up going to church and I grew up going to women's events, right? I catered it to like that kind of woman. Like you want to come out, you want to take photos with the photo backdrop. You want to come to brunch, you want food, you want vendors, you want to have a fun time.
Oh my God, you're making it like a ladies' Sunday party.
That's what it
shooting.
is. That's what I wanted it to be.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I was
fucking
like,
great idea.
I don't want it to be a shooting event. I don't want you to come to a shooting
class. Can they get their nails done while they're shooting?
You know what? That's a good suggestion.
Because I totally would. I think that would be baller.
Maybe I should figure this out for the next one.
Not
this next one,
like
but
get up like with shoot and everybody's like, don't worry about your nails because we're doing manicures after we shoot.
Okay, maybe I'll consider this.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But
what's that? Yeah, and that would be awesome. And then you could have like a local nail salon come out and they would be all working on you. Oh, you got girlfriend? You got boyfriend? Look at you.
Yeah, I mean, mine are getting pretty long here, so we probably did it. But obviously, I mean, you see all my stuff, I'm all pink. My whole brand is like Barbie themed because, I mean, you can still wear pink.
You're under 30, so all I do is look at you above your neck.
No,
so
I know.
I have
mean,
no
like
idea
my phone, my bag, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you saw my guns are pink and chrome.
Oh my God.
That's all they are.
Perfect.
I can see check my makeup in them. It's kind of rad.
Nice.
So like that's what I wanted to put on for them. So on top of all that stuff, there's a shooting class mixed in there too. And I wanted them to be able to walk away knowing like if they took their husband's gun because they're told this is in your house, you have access to this for safety and protection for you, especially if you have children. Like obviously I don't have kids, but like I see the importance. If you're a mom, you're still a protector, especially if your husband's not there. I mean, you should be able to know how to do that, especially if it's in your home, not even if you're carrying it. So you need to know how to load your mags, clear your malfunctions, know how to clean it if possible. If you need to know how to like really take it apart, they need to know how to do that. And so I was like, well, I need to provide that because there's so many women who think they know how to shoot and I want them to not come with their husbands. I actually had a dude drop off his wife at the last one and she was like, what's going on? Like my husband just told me to get in the car and drop me off.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, honestly, kind of intense. Sorry about that. But like you're in a good hands. So we're going to have fun. And she ended up having so much fun. She's coming back to the next one.
You know, I think that I talk to people about this all the time. One of the things I like to do when folks visit from out of town, when I have people come in internationally, whenever they come here, I'm always like, hey, and I don't like going to the range anymore, man. I have shot everything.
Exactly.
I'm not into it, but I love taking people to the range, and especially new people, especially women. And it relates to politics, and it relates to the Constitution in America. And you know, we get made fun of as a Second Amendment people. We get pishad on and made fun of across the country by people who are not gunners. And the thing about it is, you know, many conservatives are recovering liberals. Once you've gotten your head straight, it's hard to screw your head up again and go back to the left. So you don't see a lot of conservatives that convert to liberalism. You see lots of liberals that convert to conservatism. And I would say most of us who are conservative have had a point of liberalness in our background that we shifted. Because you get presented both, and at some point the facts take over.
Yeah.
I think truth and freedom all pivot. And this is a little heady for what you're talking about. The girls, getting their makeup done and shooting and getting their nails done at the end. I think it's a great thing. And one of the things I like about it is my experience has been when I take women shooting, I see, and I love getting like a 55-year-old Jewish white lady. She's the most fucking anti-gun, left-leaning. I love getting someone like, if I can get them to get over the palpitations and go shooting, it's my favorite. Because they shoot, and you can see they're all nervous. You can see their adrenaline. You can see their shoulders up. And you see them, if you can get them to relax and have that moment where they get comfortable and they kind of lean in, settle down, and they start kind of hitting targets, and they see the kind of fun of the instant gratification of shooting and seeing a bullseye. There's a little taste. It changes people. And if you can get somebody to be more friendly about guns or to go buy one, they taste the power of it. And I think that's why, we see a lot of women jumping into firearms now.
Yeah.
It's actually, I don't find shooting very exciting anymore. I find it boring as hell. But I think people who, in a world where you're, wanting to be able to make a fire because of the zombie apocalypse, well, the chances are the zombie apocalypse isn't going to happen because it hasn't happened in thousands of years.
Right.
But it comforts us to be able to know, just in case it did.
Exactly.
There's something about being able to shoot well and being comfortable around firearms. It's empowering. And the thing I love, women, liberals and feminists talk a bullshit game about women and empowerment.
Exactly.
They live a lie.
Yep.
But you are not empowered just because you say you are.
Yeah.
You're empowered because you take power. You're empowered because you handle power, and you're empowered because you're responsible with the power you get. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you're a powerful woman.
Yeah.
Everything else is a bullshit sales pitch. Mm-hmm. So I love seeing gals after they've shot. I like seeing the transformation of them. Yeah. I like seeing the body language change. I know you know what I'm talking about. And I love that confidence. So the fact you're out there doing that for so many women, I would just, you almost want to come up with a class that's just for Democrat gals. It would be so funny.
Yeah. I know there's people coming from all different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even have to be that their husbands have guns. I require that you bring your own firearm because I'm, one, liability, and two, this is made because I want you to feel comfortable in your home. At the end of the day, if you have access to a firearm and you don't know how to use it, you need to, because that's a tool that could save your life. Granted, I'm not saying that you need to prepare for this to happen tomorrow, but if something were to happen, you need to know how to do it. And especially as a female, I've had so many guys in the military, and they're like, the biggest equalizing force that you have is a firearm as a female. Yeah. You swing on a dude, you're going to get swung back as a dude. Yeah. You're going to get knocked out.
Right.
It's just physically, scientifically, it's never going to happen.
You can't drink with a dude, really. You can't punch with a dude, really. You can't go toe-to-toe physically. Samuel Colt is a great equalizer. The gun, it levels a playing field.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that most people, or most women, I've had women who have 4 kids at home, like, I'm just scared. I'm just scared to do it. I'm like, I don't really care that you're scared. I am afraid for your kids.
Well, and I'm less of a fearmonger like that. I'm like, good for you. Yeah. Good to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid.
It's okay to be afraid of the firearm.
And then work through it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's not that I don't care that you're afraid. I just want you to be educated. I don't even care if you come shoot. Just come watch me educate, and I don't care. I don't even care about that. As long as you are understanding the idea, because I know women who have husbands that are gone 6 months out of the year. Yeah. They have no one there. And I mean, for me, I'm like, I'm confident going places, knowing I'm alone, going home, knowing I'm alone, and being okay with that because I know that I can take care of myself. And that, at the end of the day, is the most empowering thing.
So many women, adult women, are when they're dating men, or when they're, maybe they got divorced when they were 40 and they end up being single for a decade or something. One of the things that women probably, I know from having talked to adult women, one of the things that they miss about a significant other or like the most when they're with them is they feel safe and they feel protected. That's a real thing.
And I think there's a safety aspect in just knowing that, a safe feeling, knowing you're with somebody.
Sure.
And I actually put something on my Instagram 2 days ago, because we're just we watched Red Dawn or something, and we were watching how the dudes are protecting
you and your
everyone.
boyfriend sit down and having a rom-com. You guys are watching a little rom-com.
Watching Red Dawn, we're like, this is cool. That's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. But that's
which one? Were you watching the original one with Patrick Swayze?
The new one.
You gotta watch the original.
I actually haven't seen the new one. I need to.
Have you seen the original one though?
No, that's what I'm saying. I need to watch that.
You gotta see that one.
Yeah.
The Patrick Swayze one is the best.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But I need to watch it. Anyways, we're watching it, and it's like, I put out something on my Instagram. I was like, if you are with somebody who you're not like going into it knowing this person could possibly protect me if I needed them to protect me. Like for me, that's a big thing. Knowing like mentally you have the ability to know what to do in a situation. Like if you're just like, I don't really know what to do. We're going to get about things.
So it's, the thing is all of these are illusions. Most women, most men cannot handle themselves.
Yeah.
And most women and who like the comfort of and security of a male partner don't really realize that their male partner will roll over and take it in the ass because he's a pussy.
Yeah.
Because that's most of our culture. So I think there's something amazingly powerful about women that shoot because they don't have to go external for that comfort and safety.
Right. Rely on yourself at the end of the day.
Because
always.
The cornerstone of this entire messy republic is personal accountability.
Yeah.
And when you see women, I don't mind a women talking a big game, and especially if they can deliver.
Yeah.
What I can't stand are feminists in this country talking a big game who can't deliver.
Exactly.
I'm like,
well, it discredits everybody else.
It discredits everybody. So, be accountable. And the fact, I think it's awesome and empowering. And I want women less afraid, because afraid people vote wrong. Mm-hmm. Afraid people wear their masks. Afraid people comply to the government's bullshit. Yep. People who aren't afraid, there were fewer guys walking around all masked up. There were more women. Mm-hmm. And then there are fewer veterans walking around with masks. There's an echelon of guyness and toughness that as you go along it, you see fewer and fewer masks.
Yeah.
And when you get to the Second Amendment, gun-toting, slightly hostile, former Marine, combat veteran, none of those dudes are wearing masks.
Yeah.
And they're the ones creating problems for everybody. Because they're still standing at the front. They're still standing at the breach going, the government's not the boss of me.
Yeah.
And I had a family member say, what is it? You just don't like being told what to do? Like they were trying to figure out what my motivation was. And was like, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like being told what to do.
Exactly.
I don't need a king.
No. That's not where we live.
Yes, I'll die in a flag happy by myself before I'll be told what to do.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Well, I love seeing young people kind of touched by freedom and independence and liberty, and that means your parents must have done a wonderful job. So pleasure meeting you. I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
I think it would be great for you to come back and kind of as you hit some milestones, as things start to develop in your new home here.
Of course.
I hope you want to come back and share that with us a little bit. Maybe I'm sure maybe Bobby's talked to you a little about maybe becoming one of our sponsored shooters or something. So maybe we can work something out.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to plug? We can remind everybody, go to adeline.mae, Adeline Mae, on Instagram. You can check out, I guess you do cheeky, fun reels, or is that what you call them?
Yeah, I try to be entertaining. Honestly, it just entertains me, and then those are the videos I put out.
Yeah.
But it's just fun. I like having fun and not having it be too serious. Having fun and being educational, that's my point.
I can't wait to see. I'm looking forward to seeing you put together this total like spa shooting package.
Well, it's not spa.
No, but it could.
But you want it to be.
Okay,
so what I need you to do is like build a spa for me, and then it'll be like a shooting range in the back.
See, I'm putting this together. See, this is the thing. This is the benefit you get when you come before somebody who's kind of a creative madman. Every woman wants to do a spa day.
Yeah.
And so to find a way to do like that Bud Light commercial,
where
they're like, I want to watch sumo wrestling. No, I want to watch bowling. No, I want to watch sumo wrestling. And they hit the TV with the beer and it's the sumo wrestler bowling.
Yeah.
You could do something that is like spa and shooting. I think it would be bitching, because what woman doesn't want to do a spa day?
Yeah. I mean,
so
it's just a little dirty out there to do a spa day, but we can figure it out.
I got this already coming together. Okay. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do a half day of shooting, because that's as much as most people who are new their brain can take. That's the most as anybody can take, quite frankly. So you guys meet out there at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. You rip it till lunch. You do the little catered lunch under tents out there, so everyone feels like they're on safari, and and then everybody goes to a spa nearby, and everybody gets to talk about the shooting afterwards, get their nails done, and do a spa afternoon.
Okay.
That is the package.
Okay, I like this.
And I think it would be a ton of fun, and the girls would all be talking about it with their friends, and it combines two things. It combines something that's familiar, that is a luxury that people love, that women love, and it combines something that they're going to love and they don't know it yet,
Yeah.
and they're fearful of.
Yeah.
So the two things together, I think, would be bitching. So that's my.
So maybe not this March 26th event, but the one after.
I'm just throwing it out there as a possible.
I don't have like 2 weeks to get that together, but I'll figure out for the next one for sure.
I think that would be awesome.
So,
though.
ladies, stay tuned. We're gonna get our nails done and shoot guns.
Tell me you wouldn't think that was awesome.
I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of gals would.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will plan it out. Let me write a note real fast.
All right, and then you let us know when you're going to do that. We'll help you promote it a little bit. Okay.
I will.
All right. Cool. Well,
Thank
that's
you.
great. Pleasure having you in here, and
Thank you so
thanks for
much.
coming and spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah, of course.
All right, sports fans, it's Greg Medford Show. Pick us up on iTunes, Spotify, and fucking wherever else you're going to see us. Maybe even on YouTube. Who knows? They let us still put shit on there. Oh, wait a minute. We're on Rumble. Is it Rumble? Tumble? Bumble?
Bumblebee Rumble.
It's it Bumblebee Rumble?
No, Bumble's a dating site.
All right, not a dating site called Fumble. There's a dating site called Fumble. It's not that one. Is it called Fumble?
No, Bumble.
It should be called Fumble. Dating sites, I think, are full of fumbles.
I mean,
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You got out of high school. You bolted out of California. Your boyfriend chased you to Arizona. You know, I got to tell you something. If I was a
Well,
kid,
we
I'd have
met at the
chased.
same time.
I would have chased your ass out
We
here
moved
too.
at the same time.
You're like, wait a minute. I'm dating a cute Southern California blonde who shoots guns. She running off to Arizona.
You know what's
I'm
funny?
going too, sweetheart.
We actually both grew up right by the beach, and we both are like, we could care less. Let's go to the desert.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it is. All right, you guys. We're out. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.